Perhaps one of the most heavily used room in our department is the ECE Resource Center. This room provides a lot of components as well as services to our students. Our technologists actually have their offices here. These large cabinets that you see are where we keep much of our inventory. The students, when they need additional components, they are able to find those here. So these are the supplies, components that are usually not stocked in the labs. Either they're additional ones or they're more specific equipment. So the more transistors and the integrated circuits kept in these cabinets. We have a few other interesting equipment in the back room, and I'm going to ask Mario to talk a little bit about those as well. Mario, what do we have in that other room?
Well, as you saw in the labs, we have a couple of small versions of this in the lab. We've got about 150 to 200 different part numbers out there, about 10,000 parts. And here we have, between these two rooms, we have about 7,500 different part numbers, total count of over 1 million parts, cables, supplies, anything you need. So out front here is, we try to follow the 80-20 rule. So 80% of what you need for your classes will be out in the labs. If you can't find it there, the 20% or the 19% we will typically have here, and this is our most common equipment parts right out front. And then we have overflow in the back here. So we have more parts in these bins. We have wire, lots and lots of wire and cable here. There is some basic wire out in the labs, but all the other specialty stuff here, bulk resistors, transistors we store over here. We have back here, I was telling you next door, we have a circuit board maker. This is our other mill. So this will take a blank copper board, double-sided copper board. You can see some students who try to make these things here. So you can see they cut the boards out, and you can see a little bit of etching here. So you can take that copper and you can mill it out and end up with a circuit board that you can bring next door and put it together. So this is heavily used by our ECE students and even some of our mechanical engineering students that need to make a circuit board. So if we can make those in-house. We do have a variety of 3D printers. One of the things we kind of encourage our students to do is to 3D design a case to put it in, because you can't design a product for a client and hand them a circuit board. You have to put it into a case. So we have two basic types of 3D printers. One of them, they're both additive. This one here is stereolithography printer. It uses polymers, and there's a tray down in the bottom of this thing here. Okay, and this tray would have a polymer inside of it. This bed comes down, and underneath of it is a laser that shoots up through the base, and the spot where the laser hits, it thermally causes the polymers to congeal. And what this does is it pulls it up out of the bath. So when you watch this thing print, it prints upside down and it pulls your structure out of it, and then we have to wash it in this bath, and we have to cure it with a UV cure.
So this particular printer is somewhat different than perhaps that you would find most commercially available or in your high school labs or libraries. This particular printer is able to print parts at a much higher resolution than what your standard printers are able to print.
Right. In addition, we have a couple of small pieces of mechanical engineering equipment back here. So we have a mill, a miniature mill, a lathe, and a mill. Like I said, you have to make sometimes small parts that you don't want to use or you can't do on a huge commercial piece of equipment that we have downstairs in the mechanical engineering shop. So these things here are great for making really tiny either enclosures or fixtures. There is an actual little fixture that we made that goes on here. It's to hold the circuit board is about 1/3 of an inch square. All right, so that was made between these two pieces of instrumentation here. We also have a small drill press. We have a regular drill press, and this one here for drilling holes in the circuit board. This one runs at a very high speed, uses a really tiny drill bits to drill holes through your board.
This is a small addition to our fabrication room. In this particular room, we have a few test equipment to test the circuits that are being built. But more important, there are a series of 3D printers, small ones as well as a large one, to build enclosures, to build cases for the circuits that are built. Perhaps the most interesting device in here is this little guy. This actually prints a printed circuit board. Given a blank board, it can actually, using an additive process, can literally print the circuit lines and the connections onto the board.